It feels like to make out with my vampire boyfriend. Kristen Stewart's on-screen romance with her ex-boyfriend Robert Pattinson was not as easy as it looked. Kristen Stewart reveals the challenges of bringing Bella Swan to life in the Twilight Saga. Kristen Stewart became an overnight star when she starred as Bella Swan in the first Twilight Saga movie. One of her most iconic roles to date, the actress' portrayal was well received, with fans and critics praising her for perfectly depicting the nuances of her character. Her on-screen romance with co-star and ex-boyfriend Robert Pattinson, aka the enigmatic vampire Edward Cullen, further captivated audiences worldwide. Yet it wasn't at all easy portraying the character, for portraying a role based on a highly famous book series presented its own set of challenges. In a candid reflection, Stewart revealed the complexities and challenges of starring in the franchise and playing her character. Playing Bella Swan wasn't as easy as it looked for Kristen Stewart. The first Twilight Saga movie was released in 2008, and since then it has become one of the most iconic movies in the history of modern cinema. Based on the romance fantasy book series by Stephen E. Meyer, the movie series brought the world of vampires and werewolves to life in a visually appealing way. While the movies are definitely not as dark as the books, they nonetheless depict what the naive reader would regard as a beautiful love story. And this love story between Kristen Stewart's Bella Swan and Robert Pattinson's Edward Cullen is the most intriguing aspect of the books and movies, which at the end of the day wasn't as easy to bring to life as it might seem to viewers. While talking to the Interview magazine, the actress remarked, you have to question their motivations to watch two people so unhealthily devoted to each other. I stand behind everything that they do. I have to justify it in my mind, or else I couldn't play the character. But they are definitely not the most pragmatic characters. Filled with not-so-pragmatic themes, as Stewart puts it, dominance and masochism, the actress stated that it was difficult to embody a character that was to be viewed differently by young fans of the franchise and a more mature audience. To play a character that makes sense to both of these age groups and more was definitely more troublesome than what some might perceive. Kristen Stewart had a hard time catering to a diverse audience. While having an internal justification for her character's decisions was necessary yet challenging for Kristen Stewart, it was equally challenging for her to cater to the different notions different audiences had about the tale. Twilight, as a book series, had a huge appeal to different kinds of audiences and found a loyal fan base in both the young and old. Although having an already established loyal fan base is an advantage, in this case, it presented itself as quite a challenge. To balance the need to appeal to a diverse audience was not easy, and Stewart acknowledged how crucial it was that her portrayal should resonate with both the older audience and the younger ones who looked at the tale with more innocent eyes. You always have to realize that the story needs to make sense to the 11-year-olds who read the book and aren't necessarily going to be viewing a scene as foreplay. But then there is the other segment of the audience, a large percentage, who does see the scene as foreplay. Stated Stewart to Interview magazine. She then revealed how portraying the intense relationship between a vampire and a human was not as effortless as it looked. I don't know what it feels like to make out with my vampire boyfriend because it isn't something that anybody has ever felt. A fascinating glimpse into what went behind her role in the Twilight Saga, it is but a fact now that Kristen Stewart did an effortless job starring as such a complex character in a world that was even more complex and intense.